What's going on, guys? I'm bringing you guys a new video based off of the best classes you could possibly have right now in the very start of the game of Black Ops 4 for pubs. So we're gonna go and hop straight into this. Honestly, the only sub I've actually really liked is the MX9. It's not the worst sub, but it's like the one you could rely on the most out of all of them, in my opinion. The attachments you would want are definitely long barrel, because you want that damage on those medium to long. You kind of want that damage to not be. You don't want to hit people with like 8 shots from across the map. You know what I mean? So you want to have that long barrel, and you want to have stock. Stock is a really big one here because it lets you strafe while you're, for example, let's say you're on a head glitch and you're strafing left and right, you'll get the upper hand there. And right here I like to put in a third attachment, and you're gonna have to put in a primary gunfighter to get this third attachment, and it's rapid fire. I honestly think this gun shoots pretty slow, so I put on rapid fire and I fell in love with it ever since. The only thing with that is that it gives that extra kick. So just be careful. Don't get into gunfights where you don't really have the advantage in. So just go for close to medium. And for secondary, I don't really like to have anything. Just my opinion. And for the gear, I use stim shot just so I can get a kill, heal, get a kill, heal. So I don't have to. So yeah, so I could just do that. And then for perk 1, I don't really use anything on this one because I don't find any of them very useful at this moment. The only one I would use is probably the scavenger and tech mask, because I find myself getting 9 banged all the time, and because I seem to run out of ammo pretty quickly. But since I see people use the MX9 quite often, I just don't use it. I just stick with no perk 1. And for the second perk, you definitely want dexterity, because you get to, this perk is really good. You get to mantle, climb, slide, and swap weapons faster. That is really big when you're in gunfights. Let's say you're climbing really slow and you can't even shoot and let's say there's a guy on the other side, you're dead. If you have dexterity, you have much a higher chance of surviving the gunfight. And it also comes with increased weapon accuracy when you're jumping. So let's say you're jump shotting, your accuracy will be a lot better. Like your aim won't be all over the place. So I like having dexterity. If you don't have dexterity, I either use lightweight or skulker, but definitely dexterity if you have it. For perk 3, I always use ghost, because I really hate being detected from UAVs. It's annoying, but yeah, I've always used ghosts, and it's a must in pubs. And I also like to have dead silence, because people sound horn in this game, and one of the most important things is you resist detection from acoustic sensors. So the acoustic sensor, for example, it's basically like Sixth Sense from Black Ops 3. Like, let's say there's a guy near you on your minimap, it shows you like the direction they're in, and then that guy right there can just pre-aim you easily and have first shot and be pre-aiming you already. But that's why dead silence is pretty useful. And if you don't want dead silence or don't have it, you can always use another perk or perk 2. Yeah, but I like to have dead silence on this. And then the ARs, I use the reflex sight on this. I use quick draw. To aim in quicker. I use grip 1 and grip 2, because let's see here. Grip 1 reduces recoil while aiming down the sight. That's amazing for an already accurate gun. And then grip 2 minimizes the recoil when aiming before firing. So that's really big. But the biggest one on grip right now is reduces flinch when aiming down the sight. So when you're shooting and aiming down, ADSing and shooting at someone, you're gonna flinch very little. So that's really big in this game, because you're not gonna want to get shot at and then your aim just gonna be everywhere. If you don't want to put quick draw on, you could always put long barrel on. It's just that's my substitute for quick draw if you don't want it. But quick draw is a must to me because I like having first shot on everybody. Same thing, have stem shot on every single class I use. Same thing as well with the secondary. I never use one unless I'm sniping, but I don't really snipe too much in this game. And perk 1, I don't have anything. And then the perks are always the same for me. It's always ghost and silence and dexterity because they wait, what? Oh, okay. See here? Here I cannot have the perks I would use for a sub because of this optic that I'm using. So what I do is I just do ghost and dexterity. That's all I do. I can't have the perk 3 because it would just take a slot up and I don't have any more space for the perk 3. So I either use a perk 1 or I just use a secondary. If not, and then equipment. But I never use equipment or any nades, stuff like that. So I would use scavenger here. That's what I would use here for this ICR. ICR right now is like the best gun in the game, and like everybody uses it. It's accurate. It's pretty strong. Even in close range, sometimes it's crazy. It's crazy the kills you get sometimes. But moving on to the third class, I have the Vapor here. This is my second favorite AR, right next to the ICR, of course. I use Elo on this, along with long barrel, stock, and stock 2. This is what I have on my 4 attachments basically on this gun. Long barrel 1 being it increases the range by 2, and its range isn't very good right now. It's like less than half. So for an AR, long barrel is for an AR that has not too much range, it's pretty good. Very useful. Stock 1 increases speed while aiming, so when you're strafing, it's pretty good. Gives you the advantage when you're in head glitches again. Stock 2 maximizes movement speed while aiming. So basically, you're strafing a lot faster than you would with only stock 1. So I don't know, that might throw you off a little bit, but you're gonna have to get used to it, and you'll start winning your gunfights a lot more. And last but not least, on the stock 2, you maintain aim when jumping, landing, and moving while prone. So let's say you're drop shotting, you're gonna keep being ADS while you're drop shotting. So I find myself drop shotting quite a bit in this game, and I don't get the kill because I do not have stock 2. And if I had stock 2, I would most likely get the kill. For gear, it's always going to be stim shot, and the perks will always be the same. Okay, for the swordfish, this gun is a 4-round burst. I think it's a pretty good AR. Like, it's really close from the swordfish and the Vapor to me. So like a tied in second place. I like using reflex on this, along with quick draw and long barrel. I like using that. If you want, you could put quick draw 2, which maximizes the aiming speed and increased vision while looking down sights. So basically, you aim in faster. If you had quick draw 1, you would aim a little slower than you would have if you had quick draw 2. And yeah, that's about it for all my best classes that I would use for pubs. Okay, this is not competitive classes. You wouldn't have rapid fire on a competitive match. You wouldn't have ghost either because you can't use UAVs and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and stick around for the next one.